Welcome to this pre-recorded overview of the Preschool Child Find and Transition Calculator. I'm Katie Lewis, a regional consultant with the North Carolina Early Learning Network, which is a joint project of the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's Office of Early Learning and UNC Frank Porter Graham Child Development Institute. I'm honored to be facilitating today's presentation on behalf of Dawn Meskel and Keisha Walker, Preschool 619 co-coordinators, and the Special Programs and Data section within the Exceptional Children's Division. Today's presentation will orient you to the Child Find and Transition Calculator and provide you with some helpful information about how to successfully transfer information from your current Child Find and Transition Calculator into the new, recently revised template. So let's get started. The Child Find and Transition Calculator was originally developed as a way for LEAs to collect and track important data related to their EC preschool programs. While our data collection tools have certainly evolved since the inception of this calculator, we know that many LEAs are still using this tool and find it particularly helpful for collecting and analyzing data related to Indicator 12 reporting. The tool, while not often updated, needed a facelift. Changes you'll note in this revision include updated language that more closely align with ECATS and the preschool program survey that accompanies the Preschool 619 grant process. We've also taken this opportunity to update calculations and data collection fields related to Indicator 12 so that the reporting generated from this tool more accurately aligns with OSEP's reporting requirements for Indicator 12. Before moving forward, we recommend you have a few things on hand. First, you'll want to have the Preschool Child Find Transition Calculator update instructions close by. You'll also want to go ahead and open a template of the new Child Find and Transition Calculator Excel file. Lastly, you'll want to open a copy of your most current Child Find Transition Calculator. We strongly encourage you to work from a copy. That way you can preserve your data should you have any technical issues when working through the transfer process. Additionally, if you have your calculator saved as a Google Sheets file, it is strongly recommended that you download it as an Excel file for the purposes of transferring information and re-upload to the Google Sheets format after you have completed your transfer. The first step to updating your Child Find and Transition Calculator is transferring your existing data into the new file. To do this, you'll want to follow the update instructions in the Word document provided and copy and paste information in the segments that are outlined in the instructions. For example, the first group of information tells you to pull information from columns A through columns J. So you'll grab all of your student information in your existing file. You will copy just those columns. You'll move into your new file, and starting in the first row, you will right click and you will do paste special and paste values. Using paste values allows you to pull in your existing information without overriding any of the drop-down boxes or fields in the new spreadsheet. Once you have done the first section, columns A through J, you can then move to the next step of the instructions and do columns L through N. To do that, we'll go back to our other file of data. Make sure we're back at the top row. Select all the student data. Right click, copy. Move into the new spreadsheet. And same concept, starting in the first row of column L, you're going to right click and paste values. Let's look now at how to update some of the fields where we've made changes. Let's start with column B. In the previous Child Find Transition Calculator, children transitioning from the infant-toddler program were coded as ITP. Now in ECATS, these children are listed as CDSA/Part C. For that reason, we have updated the language in the drop-down box to reflect what it is in ECATS, CDSA Part C. You can change these records individually by clicking on each record and clicking the new name. A quicker method would be to do find and replace by selecting the column, searching for ITP, and replacing with CDSA/Part C, and replacing all. When you do a replace all, you want to be sure that what you are replacing with matches what's in the drop-down box exactly. That is because what is in the drop-down box is what is used in the formulas throughout the data pages of the spreadsheet. Let's look at a more complicated example with column N. In column N, in the update, we have effectively dropped the term Deck 1 from all of the options. So, to quickly change these, you could do a find and replace for each. So find and replace, we want to find and replace Deck 1/eval standard. And we're essentially dropping the Deck 1 reference and the slash, so the drop down now says eval standard, and replace all. You could repeat this for each option in the field. Deck 1, eval TPBA, would then just become eval TPBA. So on and so forth until you've updated all of the referral outcome cells. Let's take a moment to explore new fields in the updated Child Find and Transition Calculator. First, let's look at column O. Column O is process interrupted. This term previously was included as a referral outcome option in column N. However, we know that process interrupted isn't truly an outcome of a referral. It is something that typically happens after a referral has been initiated. Therefore, we have added this column so that you can document situations in which a process stops or is interrupted after a referral has begun. For more information about how to record items as process interrupted, refer to the Help tab of the spreadsheet. Let's look at columns R and columns S. Here we have added provision of parental consent date and provision of parental consent response. These columns were previously not included in the Child Find and Transition Calculator, but because we know that these dates have an impact on helping us determine when a timeline ends, they have been added so we can more accurately report our timeline findings. In some cases, your provision of parental consent date may be the same as your eligibility meeting date if they occurred on the same day and the parents were present. However, this may not always be the case. You should refer to your records in ECATS or at the local level to fill in these columns for each student. After you have updated all of your data fields per the instructions document, you're then going to want to examine your data and look for any outstanding issues, particularly in the areas of your Indicator 11 and Indicator 12 columns. In this area, anything signified by red cells should be looked at and addressed. It likely means that a timeline has been missed and you haven't entered an exception or a delay reason. Look back in ECATS or your local records to determine how to best correct the red cell. A few updates have been made to some of the data screens. Specifically, on the Administration tab, we have reduced the number of dates you have to enter to only include the first and last day of the school year for which you are reporting. The dates that had previously been collected in the other calculator were no longer being referenced in formulas throughout the spreadsheet, so it was not relevant to keep them as we moved forward. On the pre-K grant data screen, we updated our notification counts to reflect the updated list of notification sources, and we updated our screening and assessment information to reflect the way questions were asked on the preschool grant survey that accompanied the Preschool 619 grant submission. Lastly, you should have noted some changes with the Indicator 12 report that released earlier this spring. Changes here have to do with who is being counted in Indicator 12 and where children are being accounted for when there are exceptions. Please refer to the Indicator 12 reporting document for more detail about these changes. While we hope that the instructional document and this presentation have been helpful in getting you started with transferring your information into the updated Child Find and Transition Calculator, we know you may still have questions or be in need of additional support. At this time, we are asking that you direct all questions and requests for support to the Federal Reporting Office hours. This way, your questions and concerns can be noted, and we can plan for how to effectively provide further supports to the field. As a reminder, the Federal Reporting Office hours are open at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on the first Wednesday of each month. If interested in attending the Federal Reporting Office hours, you can access the link to those meetings in the EC Division Weekly Update. We appreciate you listening in and hope that you'll refer back to this presentation should you have additional questions or need to revisit any of the steps in transitioning your information from your existing Child Find and Transition Calculator to the revised and updated Child Find and Transition Calculator. Thank you and have a great day.